you push this bike onto the limit, as fast as you go, as hard you push, the high speed stability is just insane. So from second gear up, you can just keep it pinned like flat out and you don't even have to use the clutch. So I better watch out that you guys not gonna smoke me in the races. Yes, guys. Hey guys, what's up? Here's Manuel Lettenbichler. I'm the current FIM Hard Enduro World Champion. I won a championship last year on my 2023 KTM 300 EXC with this special team behind me, the Red Bull KTM factory racing team. For 2024, KTM did something completely insane. They tried to challenge themselves and make a winning bike even better. And why? Because they want to try to push the progression into the right direction. So guys, I'm standing here in the KTM Motorsport workshop, directly in between the newest EXC models. We got a 4-stroke here. But guys, I'm a hard enduro rider, so I definitely need a 2-stroke. So behind me, we got the newest KTM 300 EXC Hard Enduro edition. And I would say I will just take you through it. The first thing what I want to talk about the new EXC models, is definitely the brand new chassis, which crosses the entire range. That means, regardlessly, we get the best handling for every kind of riding situation. Anyways, guys, you can read about the whole new chassis on the internet. But let me tell you, I raced this bike a couple of weeks ago at Red Bull Enduro. And I would say it definitely worked pretty good. Like going through the single trail riding, like faster woods, super easy to handle. But then even in Corsteiner, which is the main section also at Red Bull Enduro, like just huge rocks, big boulders, the bike is still pretty smooth. But definitely, if you push this bike onto the limit, as fast as you go, as hard you push, the high speed stability is just insane. I would say KTM did a really good job with the bike and have it ready to race. While we're still at the chassis, let me also really quickly tell you about the whole new subframe. It's a 2-piece subframe, and the biggest benefit out of it, it just bends back to normal. So if you would have a crash in the race, it just goes back to normal, you can finish it and still have a good result in it. Away from the chassis, let me tell you about the new rear shock. It's lighter, which is pretty cool, but the most important thing is the new mounting points to the frame. It's absorbing bigger hits, so it's definitely pretty good for my riding. I'm riding Red Bull Enduro in Corsteiner, just huge, big steps everywhere, and the rear end is just always at the ground. So good riding, but the most important thing is, now let me tell you, my favorite thing. It's just, you can adjust the clickers by head now. So while you're riding out there, just being in the woods, being in the rock garden, and you're not so happy with your suspension, you just change it 2 or 3 clickers and you don't have to look for your mechanic. We jump from the rear suspension to the front suspension. And guys, the production team definitely learned something from the factory guys. I'm running like a closed cartridge system since a while, and now we finally got it for you. So I better watch out that you guys not gonna smoke me in the races. Let's talk about the engine, guys. We have a 2-stroke bike here. And for hard enduro, definitely a 2-stroke bike is the bike to go. Super easy to handle, like really nice, just also for all the pivot turns, what you want to do. But then nicely aggressive at the throttle, which is like kind of this snappy feeling, what you want to have as well. And you definitely save some weight, so it's just easier to carry around the big rocks. But we have this new system here, the TBI, the Throttle Body Injection. And I used it already last year at the Roof of Africa. I did a little bit of a sneaky move there, but I already wanted to try it out, and I was so surprised how well it worked. So let me tell you guys, how do I feel about the new TBI system? I was so surprised how easy and gentle you can control the bike now from the power. Like you just go up the hill, you open up the throttle, and you know exactly where you're at with the power. and you just build up grip in almost every kind of riding. So that's definitely a big advantage for me as a hard enduro rider. But the best thing is, I would say now, the new electronic power valve, because we can just swap the mappings and there's such a big difference to it, and you have the whole control in your hands. Talking about the map switch, it comes standard at the Hard Enduro Edition bikes and at the 6 days range. It's an option for the EXC range, which is also pretty cool. So if you're out there for a big lap with your friends out there in the mountains and you have to fill up your bike, you just show up at the gas station, fill it up, and you're still ready to go. When it comes to four-stroke, my teammate Joseph Garcia would be definitely the better guy to talk about this bike because he definitely flies around the special test. But I still enjoy the four-stroke quite a bit, like for just free riding, some super enduro riding, and like it's such a cool bike, so I enjoy it. I enjoy it probably the same as a two-stroke, and I would say we're just gonna go through some new parts and new changes what they did for 2024 and check them out. So we got the next evolution of a four-stroke engine. There's a brand new cylinder head, which is pretty cool. But the most important thing is they shifted the engine 2 degrees backwards. So the rear wheel is just more on the ground. You can build up way more grip. It comes out around the corners like just easier. So the riding in general went into the right direction and to keep the bike more on the ground. Going away from the engine and coming to the electronical side, we got a brand new feature, which sits right underneath the seat. And that's the OCU. The OCU just controls the whole electronical system, and we don't have to use fuses anymore, which is really nice. And if you have a problem there, it tells you directly where it is. Just if the red light comes up, you know, oh man, there's a problem with the light or with the fan or something else. So you can just fix it right there. So super easy to handle and definitely a big advantage for the future. One thing when you get this bike, you should definitely get the map switch. It's an optional thing, so you just have to ask for it and get it. It's pretty cool. You can get 2 maps. So one a little bit more aggressive, one normal one. Then we have the traction control, which is also pretty cool. But the best thing, and that's also a brand new thing, we got the quick shift. So from second gear up, you can just keep it pinned like flat out and you don't even have to use the clutch. So if you're out there on a trail ride with your mates and you just want to smoke them, just get the map switch and try out the quick shifter because it's definitely worth it. Another new thing, which is really, really cool, is definitely this more compact exhaust package what we got here. So they tried to get the exhaust out of the way, which is really nice. It looks definitely way better. And guys, we have definitely still enough power. These bikes are still flying, so there is no issue with it. But I would say for the next feature, I will have to show you around on the other side. So, talking about the air filter box, we got this brand new twin air filters inside, which is pretty damn good. But then they also tried to save the air filter from water, so the splash protection is much better. And we still have enough airflow in it. So you still have enough power to rip around the track and the bike is still flying. So you don't have to worry that there is not enough power. Finally, we talk about the most important thing, and that's the style, guys. We got 3 different styles again. We got the standard, the 6s, and then for sure, my favorite, because I'm racing this series, is the FIM Hard Enduro World Championship Editions bike. They have a whole new bodywork, which is pretty cool, so they tried to innovate it and optimize it compared to the older bikes. A really, really nice feature is as well, we got this little mud deflection fins right there in the front, just to keep the radiator as clean as possible because you don't want to overheat your bike. We still run the clear tank, just to see how much fun is still in the tank. And then for sure, they try to optimize it in the middle to make the bike as small as possible. So there's a lot of contact points from rider to bike. They move the foot pegs inside that you don't hook up with the rocks. That's, I would say, the most important thing in our sport as well, because you never want to have a broken foot peg or just a bent foot peg. And yeah, I would say the last And probably also one of the coolest things is definitely this thing, the headlight. I would say we're probably just gonna turn it on and I'm just gonna show you how light it is. Yes, guys, look at this. So that's a pretty cool thing, and I would say they made a really, really good job with it. So to wrap it up, as you can see, the new EXC range is 95% new. They accepted the challenge to make a winning bike even better. And I would say they nailed it, huh? So now it's time to challenge you guys. See you out on the trails.